Hi, it's Ricky of Moshville Times here once again. Now, tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we are joined by Birmingham Shaggers Absolution. Absolution have agreed to play Dead of Winter up here in Glasgow in January 30th and the 31st at Ivory Blacks. So I thought I would catch up with the guys and find out what's happening with them. So tonight we've got guitarist Rich and Adam, we've got drummer William, and we've got vocalist Neil. But I'm also delighted to welcome bassist Phil to the band, but a wee bit more on that later. Before I start anything, guys, how the devil are you?
We're very well. Thank you for having us.
You're more than welcome, mate. More than welcome. I unfortunately do have 2 pages of questions to ask you. I won't tell you what size the font of the questions is either. So, but just know it's a couple of pages long. But let's start off with Phil. How was the search for a new bassist? Because what I thought it was going to be like an easy search with the home of heavy metal being Birmingham. But how easy or difficult was it to get Phil into the band?
I think getting Phil into the band was fairly easy. It's the challenge of getting a musician to join the band. That's always the hardest bit. I don't think I think once we'd connected with Phil, the whole process has been relatively straightforward. But it's always worrying when musicians leave, because there's always, or historically we've had challenges in filling positions. And
Yeah,
ultimately, as Neil mentioned on the interview with yourself before, the struggle to get musicians was one of the reasons why the band parted ways originally. So it's always worrying.
yeah.
Yeah, but thankfully our paths crossed. So yeah, it's always that piece of luck that happens when it comes to things like this.
Well, I hope you still made him
Certainly
audition
snowballed.
twice.
Sorry.
I hope you still made him audition twice for the role.
Well, I haven't. I'm going to charge him for expenses because I had to go to his house.
But just a wee bit about yourself, Phil. What were you doing before Absolution? Then what were your band career type thing? And was it just something that popped up and you thought, yeah, I want to get involved with Absolution?
Well, I've been playing in a band called Skelexin, like off and on for the last 20 years.
Yeah,
It's a band I started when I left high school, but it kind of just fizzled out, really. Everybody was doing different things. We didn't have a drummer at the time. We've been writing a few songs, but just a bit of interest got lost. And I've
yeah,
been looking for a band that are actively wanting to play and play gigs. And they've got a practice room, and I just thought Absolution were a perfect fit, really. I'm into the music. I'd been a fan of them. I saw the post and thought, I'll have a go at learning some stuff and I'll try out for them. I was just glad that I followed them a little bit and I thought I'd get in touch. And last week, a couple of weeks back, like it was a perfect opportunity to get talking to him. And I had the opportunity to get an audition, and I'm glad that they took me on board.
well, there you go. I don't know if you know this yet, but you're actually the seventh bassist that they've auditioned.
Oh,
Um, I'm only kidding, only kidding. But how
Probably
long?
about probably about the seventh bass player we've had.
So it sounds as if you're the spinal tap of death metal for bass players. But
Yeah.
how long had you been out of a band before you joined Absolution? Then were you just
it's
clutching at straws? You needed to get back in.
been about 4 months since I had a practice with my other band. Like it's just been that far apart that we've been getting practices. Like we've just been practicing in like my studio.
Yeah,
They come around, we just have a little jam, two guitarists and me. But yeah, it's just not really going anywhere at the minute. We've changed the style a little bit. Wasn't really feeling it as much, and
yeah.
it's just kind of drifted apart a bit, really.
Well, as long as you keep wearing t-shirts like you're wearing just now, I'm sure everything is going to be fine with you guys and Absolution. But I'm afraid I'm going to start off this interview with a complaint. I don't normally start off with a complaint, but I feel that it's necessary in this case. It's been 7 years since Absolution released any new music since their debut album Confessions of the Iniquitous. Please tell me that you're up to something and that you're writing new material. What are you guys up to?
Well, we'd planned carefully for this question, and we've been like rehearsing answers behind Neil's back. What we've decided to do is we've decided to base our remaining career on Repulsion, and we're going to base the rest of our existence on plugging one single album for the rest of our lives. And it's done Repulsion no harm, so I thought we'd do the same.
So when's the 7-inch coming out?
In about 10
Yeah,
minutes.
there isn't. It is.
When's
it
the
is-
7-inch
it is-
coming out, Rich?
I don't know. Soon. It is. Yeah, it is. It is frustrating,
album.
and there isn't any real rhyme and reasoning behind it, and it's just the passage of time seems to just get ahead of us. Yes, sometimes we've had people leave, and then we've had to rehearse people back into the set list, and then gigs come along, and you're focusing on the gigs, and the passage of life with many of us having jobs and kids. Yes, that's a factor, but we are very conscious that we haven't released anything new for a considerable time. We certainly do have and pretty much an album's worth of new material, some of which obviously will play in Scotland.
Good.
The decision that we need to make, obviously we need to get Phil gig ready. So that's, imminent. And obviously by January we'll have done Scotland. And the choice that we need to then make is, I guess, do we record an EP or do we go for a full album? But opening it up to my colleagues, if I could blame them as well.
Well, William,
an old school demo.
Yeah, well, William,
like,
how is it easy for? Is it easy for you because you have to wait until the guys write the riffs and then you bring your drum parts to it, or do you also contribute to the writing as well, writing the riffs?
So drum parts is usually just the skank beat, or it's also called the Bay Area polka, or the master beat, and you just alternate between hi-hat and ride. And then sometimes you get to play the standard 4/4, so that's or double bass.
But do you have to wait for Rich and Adam to bring music to you before you can contribute anything?
I've got little bits, but I think my bits are always I think it's I don't do much, but that's about it for my technical ability. But that's
I think what tends to happen, and it's not always the same, and sometimes when you have newer members in the band, sometimes they'll bring their influence into the band. But what tends to happen is that I or Adam will come up with riffs. Adam will often take my riffs away to work on them. I think that Adam would maybe think that some of my riffs are a bit too obvious. Maybe Adam, I don't know. But
they're too you.
So and then we bring them all together. But one thing that I was always really, really passionate about when me and Neil did decide to reform the band is to there were lessons that we had learnt from what happened before. One of the things that I was very passionate about, and one of the lessons that we've learnt previously, is not to forget who we are. One thing that started to happen in the original part of formation of the band is we started to bring in influences that weren't us, and our direction and the quality of our music, in my opinion, started to suffer because we were going in directions that weren't us. We're taking influences. think if you go back in the day, Neil, there were one week it was Morbid Angel, the next week it was Fear Factory, the week after it was Prong. I'm not citing any individuals, but the quality of the music started to drift. So one thing that I'm always really conscious of is that when I bring riffs to the table, that it is fit for Absolution, not just it's a good riff. I want to keep us, very much grounded to what we are.
100%. And Adam, does he piss you off because he sends you riffs at 4 o'clock in the morning saying that you have to listen to this? This is my best riff yet. When you hear this?
It's interesting, actually. We may have a debate coming up over one particular song that I'm quite keen on, and Adam needs to work on it further, but that's just the way that songs morph, isn't it?
Yeah.
What normally happens is that, Richard's got a couple of riffs, and then I'll record it at home, arrange something, put a new couple of more riffs in it, send it out to the guys, and they just don't listen to it. So that's more likely to happen.
You send stuff out to us.
Exactly.
We don't listen.
I apologise. You listen.
You sit there all evening looking at the count, don't you? View count.
Yeah, waiting. Come on, guys.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's because everyone sees the song differently. So
yeah, 100%.
When there's a section, it'll be like, okay, this is, but you play that riff twice, but I play it 4 times in drum world, and it just ends up how it is. But then it's in the beginning, it's one of those things where you hear a riff and you can be like, okay, we'll just put this one drum beat over it for now, just to get the basic down, and then you can just be like, take it away, think of the riff a little bit, mildly, not too much, and then come back with something that supports it that bit better.
Yeah.
So it's like, it might just be keeping the top the same, but changing the feet pattern, so it kind of gives it that extra oomph underneath.
Yeah.
The interesting thing with Will as well is that, and I'm speaking on your behalf, Will, but don't I usually. I think all the 4 of us come from a death metal background, but Will doesn't necessarily come from a death metal background. So his influences and the music that he brought up with was not death metal. I think he's grown into death metal. So, and I think that's reflected in his drumming to an extent, because sometimes it's not obvious death metal drumming. There are certain aspects we've had to drill into him, like, the master beat as we refer to it, and the skank beat as Will in his clever drumming world refers to it.
Well, and who knows as well, like Phil might bring some impetus and some songwriting into the band. He may actually be the kick up the backside that you guys need to get things recorded. And...
No, I can sense that already with some of the WhatsApp chats that we're having, and it is welcome, because he will bring a drive that will inject into the band, and quite likely should give us a bit of a kick.
Well, I hate to tell you,
don't actually kick us. Because you are considerably bigger than.
Richard, are you sitting on a throne?
Yes.
Yeah. I actually saw the picture that you put of Phil when he joined the band, and I wouldn't mess with that fucker. So, so whatever he says, you just have to say yes to it.
Yeah.
But it's interesting you're saying about skank beats, because what I liked about the album, it's just the sheer groove. I love blast beats when they're done right, but most of all, I want to move when I hear a song, and with your album, you do that plentiful. So, but I do have one concern though, Adam. I read somewhere that you commented that Absolution are massively influenced by UB40 for their double bass and skank beat rhythms. Is this coming into the Absolution sound more?
Well, I think they rehearsed or have rehearsed in the same place we do. So maybe, who knows?
Did you really say that, Adam?
Pardon?
Yeah, well,
I don't remember saying it.
That's what's worrying me.
How many beers did you have beforehand?
Hey, lots of things I can't remember.
I can tell you the name of the...
Don't talk about UB40 though.
Yeah.
That's the wrong side of the city for us.
Are they not Blue Noses, are they?
Yeah, well, they are, yeah.
It was from it was an article that was getting done on a Birmingham metal scene, And you apparently joked about this, but I don't know whether you were serious or not. But I take
Oh
it word
no,
for
I
word.
remember Neil was really annoyed with me because I think we
Yeah,
were waiting to play a gig in Bristol, and I got there ahead of the guys because I was working somewhere, and we had this interview questions, and I was just sitting around bored, and I was just being an idiot and answered the questions in a jokey way, sent it off, and then
yeah.
Neil had the hump.
And,
I just,
we've never played there since.
I
But
just
I've never
don't.
answered a question since.
I just hope it doesn't put Phil off, like joining the band when there's UB40 influences. But you keep on mentioning these skank beats. You know what I mean?
The funny thing
Um,
when you sing that with the
Masterpiece.
groove and the background to it, because there's a lot of bits in the drumming where I've just kind of kept it punching. So you got the rhythm and bluesy stuff underneath with the groove, so you got that thing to move to in
yeah.
a weird way. So you kind of got that bit underneath where you got that pow pow, like so you can actually go along to it to keep it kicking through.
Maybe you can
But,
get them to come in and do guest vocals or something like that in a particular song.
Death metal red red wine
That's it.
or
Red
blood
White
red
Wine.
wine.
that's very good.
That's
And
it.
like you
The only
say,
one who's welcome, the only one
sorry,
who's welcome is Nigel Kennedy. Bit of violin, that'd be nice.
There you go. A wee bit of My Dying Bride in there, absolutely. Get those vibes
but,
in.
but but Rick, that master beat is so key to us. And it's if we were to go through a list of the band's favorite bands, you know, they all do a degree of that. And a lot of this obviously goes back to the very origins of the band when we were formed, from Paul ex Benediction. So we were already born into that. I mean, we were all the original members of the band were big Benediction fans, and we've always loved collectively bands like Massacre and Master.
Yeah.
A lot of the Swedish bands that do that stuff as well. So yes, we have introduced, a little bit of blast beats in our later songs, which obviously will play some in January.
Yeah.
But yes, the essence of the band is that groove.
Do you think you'll be ready in time, Phil, to play the set?
Yeah, we're pretty much near half an hour mark now. So got a couple more tracks I'm working on. So yep, should be up to 40 minutes in a couple of weeks.
Ah, good stuff. Good stuff. But going back to the conversation about whether it's going to be like an EP or an album, you just don't know what's best to do. I mean, obviously, we're eagerly anticipating you releasing new material, and if you do an album, it's like an 8 minute, an 8 year stopgap, whereas who knows? EPs might be the answer. You do four songs, and then another four songs, and just keep because we like the old school. I like the albums. I like the physical product. I like the lyrics. I like the artwork. I like the physical holding it. But the new school of today like doing single, couple months single, couple months single. So you don't know what's best for the band. So where do you think you guys are going to be heading? Are we going to go old school and do an album, or are you going to do a few songs and EP?
I think
I
anything
think
is better than nothing. No, go on now, mate.
we'll probably end up going more down like an EP. Now, whether we do something in a demo level, first of all, I don't know,
Yeah,
because the guys are messing about with some DIY recording. And I'm not adverse to that, Demos is very old school as well. Um, we've got we've been writing a few short songs, and one of the things I said like was let's just have 5 2-minute songs and just release a very short, quick sort of EP, and call it something like, I don't know, short, sharp stabs or something, something to do with serial killers. And just like, yeah, have this like very fast, quite fast, sort of like quick, just as a sort of like a little mess about almost.
yeah,
And then go into the longer stuff and like produce an album. But I've been saying for a while, the biggest thing we haven't been doing is staying relevant in terms of releases. And as you say, a lot of bands are just releasing a song here, there, and everywhere, and that's the sort of thing we need to do as well,
yeah.
in my opinion.
You said about demos. Void Below, who are also playing Dead of Winter, that's exactly what they done. They released an EP of like demo recordings of what's going to be coming next.
Yeah.
I think it was four tracks, purely of demos of their upcoming debut album. So that may be something that you guys will be doing as well. So get the anticipation.
Yeah, I mean, if we can get happy with some sort of recordings which are DIY, basically it's cost us nothing but time.
100%.
So it's a win-win situation in my opinion.
So
as long as we're happy with the recordings.
I think what we're going to do in a lot of this with Will's help, because obviously Will is has the know-how and some of the equipment to do it. Just going to see how far we can push this ourselves in our own rehearsal room.
Yeah.
So I've been quite pleasantly surprised as to what we've achieved in the studio. We're working, we've done a couple of rhythm guitar tracks. Will did the bass and the drums. I did a quite exemplary vocal for it, which worried Neil a great deal.
No, I was happy with that, mate. It's better than the last time you tried backing vocals, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, but that was under your coaching influence. I was only doing it as you told me to. But yeah, so I think in the next couple of weeks, obviously get Phil to do the bass track for it in this room, get Adam to squeeze in a solo, and I guess we are really talking squeezing it in, Adam.
Little whittle.
Yeah, whittle, yeah. And then to see how it, obviously Neil with better vocals than I could ever do, and then just see how it goes.
Absolutely.
I think we just, I think we, like Neil said, none of us can argue with it. We need to get something out that is tangible and is of good enough quality. And what we've done in the studio, it's powerful, it's heavy, it's
But for those that are eagerly awaiting this new material, then it's probably a question for each of you. What would you say are the subtle differences to the new songs compared to the debut album? So what would you say is like the subtle differences in the writing, or is it the sound that you're looking for, or things faster or things slower? So maybe a question, because you're top left, William, I'm going to start with you, mate. What would you say the subtle differences in the new music is compared to the debut album? Or is it more of the same?
Did I have to listen to the debut album?
Yeah, apparently he wasn't on it.
Bloody drummers, man. Bloody drummers.
No, it's
Will's just going to say that the drumming's better. That's what he's going to say.
No, I was going to say with the drum wise, I think the way I like to record and do things is what you hear on the album is me type thing. So or on the songs is me. So when we record it, I'm not going to go back and move like quantize and do all the other bits because that's just not how I like to have me shown.
Yeah.
So what you're listening to is what I can play. And the handy thing about having the recording stuff we got, because I've been collecting stuff over the past couple of years and I've bought some extra bits, is I can go into the room and record 25 takes without annoying anyone because they'll be done because I like to do start to finish, everything's perfect. And if I do 24 takes and the last one I mess up one little thing, it would bother me too much. So I'd have to go back and do it again just to do that 25th time to get that one thing. And it might just be something simple as a Duff snare drum where I could just easily oversample myself on top of it.
Yeah.
That thing. So it'd be so you get a more live raw recording of it. Because I think that just comes from the Slayer sound of when you hear Dave Lombardo or Paul Bostaph playing it, you hear what sounds like live drums in an actual acoustic thing rather than someone who's been pushed back into the right place.
Yeah. So are you going to bring some blast beats into this new material?
The funny thing with blast beats in is there are sections where it can fit and I'll
Yes.
put it in there as a joke sometimes. Where it's there's a couple of the old songs where if we're playing that little bit too fast or we're in a bit of joking mood, I'd throw it in there. So it fits, but it doesn't need to be there. But it's one of those things where if the beats fit and and it's grooving, so sometimes you can have a simple straight groove, or you can have the blast beat that you need, or like just keep it skank to have it that different things there.
Yeah. No,
Or
cool.
if it opens up a space, so there's points where we have a riff that kind of repeats for 16 bars, and
Yeah.
it would be change the drums every 4 bars or something. So you start on the hi-hat, move to the ride, go to a crash or something, and then it's like, oh, what's the next? And you're like, okay, throw a blast beat in or something, or just do something different on the China. I'm probably thinking of a specific song there, which I don't pay attention to the song, the titles. To that's
We've noticed.
yeah.
I was leaving it for somebody else to say. Phil, you're actually in my bottom left, but I don't know if it's too early for you to say. Like, have you experienced like some of the new material, and have you already noticed like subtle differences to Confessions?
Uh, yeah, it's got a lot of influences that I'm into. Like it sounds old school. I'm just hoping that I can bring a nice bass tone and add to what they've already started,
Yeah.
and hopefully create some newer stuff.
Is that a 6 string bass behind you, or is that a guitar?
5 string, that one.
Five
Warwick.
string. Right, well, he's going to start bringing fucking dragons and dungeons and castles to bloody Absolution now with 5 strings.
We'll
Just
just
need
cut,
5
we'll just
to
cut the
show
lower
off.
strings off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have
But
got a couple of
Adam,
strings.
what about yourself, mate? What would you say? Have you changed anything about your riffs or the way that you write with this new material compared to Confessions?
Who's that for? Sorry, me.
Adam, yeah.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, I was talking when you were talking.
Sorry.
No, not really. Like Neil mentioned earlier, some of the songs. Well, I guess there's like two sort of streams we're working on. There's album songs that are kind of similar to the last album, maybe a little bit simpler, and then there's also this separate tranche of songs we're working on that are just sort of shorter, really old school, maybe a bit more sort of hardcore punk influenced as well.
Yeah.
So there's kind of two separate channels that we're working on. So there's definitely a lot of difference in those shorter ones, that this sort of blast EP. It's even got a couple of blast beats on it that Neil mentioned. But yeah, as for the sort of album stuff, I think it's pretty similar. So maybe a little bit simpler, but it's hard to say really. You get too close to it, it's difficult to say.
Have
But
you
I know
had
the
more
approach is the same
influences?
anyway.
Have you had more influences, like since in the last 8 years? Have you been listening to more blackmail, for example, since then, or
100%
has it
not.
always been old school?
Well, me, no. I'm stuck between 89 and 93. I regularly tell the guys anything before or after is shite, including us. So for me, no, it's all the same stuff. But I don't know. I can't speak for the rest of the guys.
I need to get you on my show then, because I love an old school night, so I need to get you on my show then.
100%.
You
Yeah.
have been warned.
Cool. What about yourself, Neil? Like, have you changed your vocal style in any way, or how do you think you're changing for this new material?
Yeah, I mean, I do try and do some more high pitch sort of screams or shouts or whatever at times. I don't want to keep it just purely sort of like one sort of like almost not one tone, but you know what I mean, just one basic style.
Yeah.
And I just think it's good to have a few screams and stuff in there where my vocals will allow it, sort of thing. I'm not gonna turn into Rob Halford overnight or anything like that. But yeah, I'm trying to mix up a few more sort of like more sort of scream sort of stuff. Again, not really like Chris out of Autopsy or something, but similar, just adding a few more sort of like higher range sort of like screams and stuff in there.
Cool.
It's as it suits really, sort of thing.
Well, for a man of your younger years, you definitely have a good voice, a good vocal delivery. So very much looking forward to hearing if there's any differences or what the sort of differences are. So just keep on doing what you're doing, mate. Keep on doing what you're doing. Last but not least, Rich. Now, believe it or not, we've only got 5 minutes of this session left. So, so what would you have you approached the songwriting differently from Confessions?
No, I've tried to kind of stay true to that. I think the one thing that certainly I've had comments on with some of the newer stuff that we've played live is the blast beat bit. I think was a bit of a surprise to some people because it's something that historically we've very deliberately shied away from. But it has worked with what we've done to date. Again, the core for the majority, the core songwriters of the band have remained in the band on the whole. So that natural progression is still there. Our influences have remain as is. We do listen to newer stuff and all sorts of different genres, but the bands that are historically have influenced Absolution are the bands that we still listen to. So I don't think it's like I'd like to think it's like a Bolt Thrower album or an Obituary album. You buy an Absolution album, it's going to sound like Absolution. It's not going to, it is what it is. Hopefully it's just a new selection of good songs that hopefully people will like.
Well, I'm going to summarise it by saying I hope you don't do what Obituary done and what Autopsy done and stuff like that, because I've always, Cause of Death is my favourite death metal album of all time. And ever since that...
Look at Adam go. Look at Adam
go. Best album ever made.
100%. 100%. But then it's just never been the same. I've wanted a Cause of Death Mark II for 35 years. And it's the same with Autopsy, Severed and Mental Funeral. But then it just changed with Acts of Unspeakable. But I don't want you guys to change. I don't want you guys to progress as musicians. I just want more Absolution. I want more groove.
Oh, no, we're not very good at progressing as musicians. So.
There's no danger of that.
Regressing.
Regressing. I mean, one thing that I know it's easier said than done, and again, it's the lessons learned of trying to stay true to yourselves.
Yeah.
Is that somebody wrote reviews saying that Absolution was so old school, they were practically black and white. I always quite like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's easier said than done because it's not necessarily you want to, I mean, I'm lucky in the fact that, certainly and I'm getting to know Phil, but Adam and Will are really good musicians. I mean, Adam's always, look at him. Adam's always been really good since we met him, and Will year on year has just got better and better. But ultimately, it's playing within the not the restriction, but it's playing within the blueprint of the band.
So what you're saying, it's Neil that's got worse then? Yeah.
Certainly not.
He's frozen, so he can't even retaliate to that. So just the last thing about the new music then, is there anything about this release that you're going to do similarly that you did with Confessions? Like, are you going to use the same recording experience? I think it was it Priory Studios for Confessions? Are you going to use that again, or do you think you're going to do more things like DIY, or would you like to have new studios, new experiences, and go somewhere else? What do you think is going to happen? Have you discussed that yet?
I personally would like to try a different studio, but it comes down to money. That's expensive making the album last time. So can we do it DIY to a good enough standard?
Yeah.
I guess we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, Rich, you were saying?
No, I just like saying what Adam was saying. I think it's just going to be dependent on how our studio recordings go, and then we'll take it from there. again, I think the thing is, once you've had a studio experience, then whatever we do in that rehearsal room will not reflect what you can do in a proper studio, and that is the challenge. It's how good we can get it to sound ourselves.
Yeah.
And we've had many a discussion. We're not after a super polished Mori sound output. And that some of our favourite bands like Autopsy have had that kind of less grounded production, but it works. But I guess we'll see how it goes. I think after we've done one or two, then we will know. But I think certainly for the album that would have to be done in a studio.
Cool. Well, we'll just have to wait and see. But obviously, one of the main reasons for this interview is that you're climbing over a certain wall and you're coming to play Glasgow. And just to let you know that, especially for you guys, we've kind of raised that wall. So we're going to make it harder for you guys to come in. But is this the first time that you've come up?
It is, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it is. Well, I hope you're excited for it. But so how did it all come about, like being offered to play Dead of Winter? Because this is the third year in its inception. The first year, Malediction, it was like basically a UK effort. And Malediction headlined it. And they played to a full house. And Malediction said it's probably the best gig that they've ever played since 1989. And then it expanded the following year, from Italy. And now you've got 3 bands from Italy. You've got Danes coming over. You've got Swedes coming down. And you've got you guys coming up. So how did it come about for you guys to be invited to Dead of Winter?
Well, that's Kenny. Pure and simple. I can't tell you why. He's the man to tell you exactly why, but he dropped us a note and he says, we'll run Dead of Winter up in Scotland. And I went, yeah, I've heard of it. And he says, like, would you like to come up and play? Like, I was obviously the one who'd first sort of like seen the correspondence, and I'm straight away going, yeah, I'd love to come up to Scotland.
Yeah.
Nothing, brilliant for me. As I said before, it's where the old lineage comes from. So I'm well chuffed to come up to Scotland. Personally, it's heading back to where like the family originally came from, so to speak. So I'm well chuffed for it.
Yeah.
But, Kenny's, Kenny will be the one to tell you, how and why, and I mean, this is the thing. We're sort of like quite a grounded bunch of people. So when people suddenly contact us and that and say certain things about the band, we just don't sort of like, we don't realise it. People go, oh, you're like not legends, like, but you're well known from like the old days, and it's like, really, we don't see it ourselves. We're quite humble.
Do you know something? Quando's a bit like yourself and your DVD rack behind you, but he's got like vinyl, he's got like CDs, he's got tape drawers and drawers of tapes. If you announce a band from Chile in 1989 that released a demo, he's friggin' got it. But that's what he wants to do. He wants to bring back bands either from the grave or bands that are started in the early days and play old school. I mean, Malediction played their first gig at Dead of Winter since they came back, and what a gig it was for them. We've tried to get Necrosanct back as well. I don't know if you know the boys from Necrosanct. But yeah, it seemed like an obvious choice. With you guys, it's just old school death metal through and through. So looking forward to seeing you guys play.
Well, I'm talking on for the rest of them, so I won't talk for the rest of them. I'll talk for me. I'm really happy to be doing it. Don't know about the rest of them. You got some proper old school English boys in the band, like Rich, but
yeah,
Adam, for example, his heritage is more from
from Wales,
from outside of England. So,
well, just a wee tip: severe lacerations I've played as well. And one of the things that they did was they gave the crowd a bottle of Jack Daniels. Now, I'm not telling you to do the same, but if you are, I'm going to be in the front row when I see you guys. But then I've just noticed something. But for those who haven't seen an Absolution show, especially for us in Scotland, then you're going to have to bring your A game. But for those that haven't seen you before, what's an Absolution show like? How would you describe yourselves live? What are you going to bring? What's going to make you stand out?
Stand out.
Mm.
We're a bit noisy. There might be a bit of feedback. Rich gets a bit sweaty.
Yeah.
You all get a bit
We're
sweaty.
going to sing your sermon. Carry on how you
No,
say it. Earwax loosening, deafening cacophony of noise and fun.
I think a lot of
Absolutely.
I think a lot of it will come from a live perspective from Neil. So, you know, obviously one of our, certainly mine and Neil's favourite bands is Macabre. And so, you know, Neil will like to give a little bit of a story and a little bit of a banter with some of our songs. And obviously, because of our lyrical content, we need to be a little bit careful that, you know, that there is a fine line between what we're singing about and the darker humour of it. So we have to be a little bit careful. But I think with some of the introductions that Neil does for our songs, it gives a little bit of audience banter. From a band point of view, it's just a question. We just get down and just do what we do. We can't pretend to be anything that we're not. You know, we're not a bunch of 19-year-old deathcore jumping around people. You know, we are what we are. So we just get up and just play.
You will love Ivory Blacks, the venue itself. You'll love the stage. The stage, there's a lot of room on stage for the five of you. The sound, whoever Ivory Blacks get in for the sound engineer is absolutely top notch. The sound is absolutely brilliant. You've got an excellent place for merch, and you've got 300 of us punters saying, "Impress me." But when it comes to the merch side of things, are you bringing up anything specifically for the show? Like what you're going to be bringing up with you merch wise?
Yeah, we've got some t-shirts. I need to probably get another order on some stuff. I've already put my eyes out to get some more beanies. Got one sort of like, well, I've got one of my old ones here. So, you
To be
know, I
fair,
can
you'll
sort
have
of,
the weather for it. It's the end of January in Scotland. It's -3 tonight. I might just say.
Wow.
so you know, we've got these nice beanies, as you can see.
Exquisitely modelled.
And t-shirts. We have to get some more Cannibal Clan, obviously for all you locals, because obviously it is a song about Scotland. And yeah, so and
Do
I
you
don't
still have
know.
some
I'm
CDs
gonna
or
try and
vinyl of or CDs
yes,
of of the album?
yeah, we've got CDs of the album and the EP. And I don't know, I've got a friend who maybe the person who sort of like maybe put Phil our way, perhaps. I don't know, because I soon realised that they knew each other through some comments on some of the posts. So I've got an artist friend, so might even try and look at getting another design done as well. I don't know yet, but I'm going to look at that very soon.
Oh,
But yeah, we've basically got two t-shirt designs at the moment, which we can bring.
well, you'll like the merch area. Plenty of room to put up your merch. Another tip that I would give you is watch the cars that you bring into Glasgow because of the ULEZ zones. I know it's something like £12.50 in London or something like that, but in Glasgow it's 60 quid. So
Right.
petrol cars 2007 and diesels 2015. So anything after that, you're fine. So just watch what you're coming in. Ivory Blacks will give you like directions, or Kenny will give you directions as to where to go. You have to follow them. because if you miss a turn off right to get into the venue, you'll be in a bus lane and that's you. You know, so you just have to be careful, right?
Well, that's me.
Is it just parking in the? Is it parking in the place next to the train station, basically?
There is parking beside the venue, but the Ivory Blacks don't really like it because there's other businesses there and fire exits and shit. But there is
Yeah,
an
no. I
NC.
mean, there's like a. Is there an NCP or something next
Yep,
to the
that's what I
train
was going to
station?
say. There's an NCP right across, and I think it's like 20 quid or something like that for an overnight stay. So it's nothing too traumatic, but it's better than
I mean,
60 quid.
what we might do is just look for somewhere, because when I had a quick look, I noticed that some of the hotels, a lot of the hotels in the centre don't offer parking um,
Yeah,
on their own premises. Um, so we may even like look at just like some that's out of town, out of the city centre, and
yeah,
then maybe just like either bring one car in and get a taxi for the others or something,
yeah,
and do it that way.
yeah.
Mm.
Absolutely, absolutely. If you're looking for somewhere to stay, I can recommend you plenty of. I've got a 3 bedroom house, right? But I've only got one double bed. So what happens in Glasgow stays in Glasgow, all right? I've already got the Death Collector boys staying. So, so if we'll just keep it to ourselves, whatever happens. But moving swiftly along. So, what gigs have you got? What gigs have you played, and what have you got in the future for the rest of the year? I know it's coming up. I think you've got one gig before Christmas, but what have you got
Yeah.
beginning of 2026 that you're allowed to say? What have you got planned for
Dead over
next
winter. Dead of winter. That's the only one we've got at the
year? Yeah.
moment.
So I take it you're going to use that time to
No
concentrate on the
gigs.
writing.
Yeah, I mean, it all
That's
depends. If
important.
stuff comes up, it's very hit and miss. You know, so all of a sudden we can get offered like 3 or 4 gigs, and then it can be quiet, sort of
Yeah,
thing. So, um, what we also need to do is just try and sort of like probably get known to a few more different promoters in different areas of the country, or Wales, even places like Wales and stuff as well. We've got to know people over the years, and
yeah,
inevitably, a few promoters they're around for like 2 to 5 years or whatever, then they disappear. Um, so then you're on the hunt for someone else who might be putting on gigs around that sort of area.
yeah,
So it's we've done well in the past in certain bits. We had a time when we played in Wales a few times. We played in Bristol, but that's gone quiet. We play some local gigs. Birmingham's never a problem. We can always book our own gigs, if you know what I mean. But um, it's just getting out and about more than anything.
I mean,
We've got a lot of contacting.
get in touch with Mick Carey from Death Collector over in Ireland because they played
Okay.
Siege of Limerick. You guys would go down a storm at Siege of Limerick, um, and he would be able to give you the contact details who to get in contact with and stuff like that. So
Adam, how far is that from your house?
Pretty much the opposite end of the country.
Right, okay.
It's a 10-minute drive, isn't it?
6-hour drive or something.
I was going
And
to
then
say
from
you've
the
got
map,
somewhere
is
to
it?
stop if it's the right part of Ireland.
No. A place in the north. My wife's from the north of Ireland originally, so we got a little place over there. But Limerick's
Yeah.
like literally opposite end.
But it's funny how you mentioned about the gigs about Birmingham because, again, on the same article or the same paragraph that I read, Adam, where you mentioned about UB40, you also said that Birmingham crowds can be a bit of a hit and a miss. Do you feel the same today, or do you feel that since COVID, punters are now appreciating their local scenes more and they're turning up more to local shows?
I think that's possible. It is hit and miss Birmingham, but at the same time, whenever we play Birmingham, we think, oh, not many people will be out tonight. Sometimes you're really surprised, and there's more of a crowd than you expect. So, but at the same time, sometimes it's just we've played to sort of 7 people before, and that's cool. We put on the best show we can and hope they enjoy it. But it's obviously not the same as playing to a full room. That's what we really want to do. And sometimes that happens in Birmingham, but not as often as you'd imagine for the home of metal and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We've heard it's the opposite in Glasgow. We were talking to, I can't remember the name of the band, but we played with them in Swansea, and they were talking about the amazing scene in Glasgow, and it's just normal. A death metal band would pack out a place, 200 people, and we were kind of like, what? You know, we've got to get some of that. So really looking forward to coming up and seeing for ourselves.
I think you know it's very in Adam's given a very measured, mature answer there, as we'd expect from Adam, of course. I guess with every city and every scene, you go through cycles, and it's very easy to just go on the cycle that you know that often Birmingham with the underground bands, the support and the crowd volumes are, you know, hit and miss. But I think you have to look at the longer cycle of it. So when I first, you know, Birmingham has historically had a really, really healthy underground scene. So you're talking the mid to late 80s, particularly for the underground hardcore punk bands in Birmingham. You know, so the whole genesis of bands like Napalm Death, you know, was a very, very healthy scene in Birmingham. You know, Napalm Death could play, you know, every week, and you know, they literally were playing every week, and people would turn out, and that transpired into like the late 80s and the early 90s. And you know, Birmingham, and Neil will remember this, you know, there was a very healthy gig scene in Birmingham with, you know, there were, you know, mid-sized clubs, you know, every week, every fortnight you'd have a massacre, you'd have a Morgoth, you'd have a Sacred Reich, you know, and you're talking every fortnight, you know, but that scene, you know, that's so many clubs close, promoters move on, and you know, that the late 80s, early 90s Birmingham, very, very, very fond memories of that and the clubs that were open then.
Yeah.
And I think in my opinion, what happened in Birmingham in like the mid 90s is, you know, a key club closed. So that was the famous Edwards number 8, because it burnt down. And then, you know, no other venue really at the time really, you know, took on the mantle of what Edwards was doing. Things like, I mean, from the clubbing point of view, you know, there were, you know, your mainstream rock bars, metal bars in Birmingham, but I mean, ultimately things like grunge happened and things changed. The clubbing scene, in my opinion, was less exciting, less glamorous than it used to be. I do think the whole, in my opinion, I think the whole black metal thing in the mid 90s, you know, really kind of, there was a lot of very, very poor black metal bands that seemed to fluctuate and go into the metal scene. And
no,
but yeah, it's peaks and troughs. So I think, you know, I'm sure if you spoke to other
down
people,
to culture as well.
Sorry.
Down to culture as well.
Yeah.
I mean, when we were teenagers, Ricky, I mean, you know, half the people our age, it felt like, were into some sort of alternative music, whether that be sort of like, you know, anything from like gothic to sort of like metal to hair metal to thrash to death metal, you know, to sort of like, you know, stuff like the Stone Roses and that. And, you know, there was this alternative scene, and there was like, probably you could probably go to at least, like, I don't know, 15, 20 different bars in the city centre, and it'd be packed full of all the students were into like alternative music and that. And it's very changed, and I think the culture as well with youngsters has changed. When we were teenagers and we were first going out drinking and that was your social life.
Yeah.
You know, you had to go out, you had to go to the pubs and that as part of the whole social activity. And I think nowadays, a lot of people are doing this sort of thing and socializing in this sort of style, sort of like way, where you can sit at home, have a beer, and chat to people online. And I think there's a lot more of that as well.
I love the way that you have a half and a half. You have a pint and you have a wee short, or a wee half to go with it. I like that. I like that. But I'm so jealous about you guys because back in the day, you would have went in the pubs and, oh, there's Dave Ingram. Oh, there's Carl Willits. There's the Benediction boys, the Bolt Thrower boys, and APAM boys, and all the rest of it. So jealous of you guys. I was a wee bit worried, Richard, because you mentioned the word Genesis, and I thought that's where you were going to go with that, the band Genesis, but you were using
Genesis.
you were using the verb. But one of the things, well, the two things, Glasgow is booming at the moment. Scotland as a whole is booming at the moment, but Glasgow, you can go out on a Saturday night and you can go to 4 or 5 gigs. Sometimes it splits the crowd, but the good thing about Dead of Winter is when Dead of Winter announce their dates, nobody does anything close to it. Unfortunately, this year though, Mutagenic Host are playing Glasgow on a Thursday night before Dead of Winter. So what we're doing is we're rallying round and we're going to go to the Thursday show as well. So we're encouraging everybody to have a long weekend in Glasgow. See Mutagenic hosting a Thursday and then Dead of Winter on the Friday and Saturday, and probably Die on the Sunday. But one of the good things about underground extreme metal is it's like a tenner. You can see 4 bands for a tenner to see and they play original music, and that was the same way back in the early days. I remember seeing Cannibal Corpse for £7 and stuff like that. But it was cheap to see underground bands then, and as it is now. So there should be no reason for punters coming out and things like that.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, it's amazing how, when you reflect back on it. I think the first time I saw Anthrax, was it £6.50? I was seeing.
That was a lot of money.
Yeah. Now you'll have to move the decimal point.
Yeah.
65 quid to see them or something.
I think, and I do tend to remember strange things. I think when we supported Cannibal Corpse, it was a £5 in.
There you go. Yeah. But anyway, we can talk all day about this. But looking on your previous material, like your EP and your album, Confessions, if you had the opportunity, is there anything that you would like to change about them? Looking back on them, you're like, oh, I wish the drum sound was a wee bit more, or the vocals were a wee bit lower than mix, or whatever. Is there anything about the album you would love to change?
It's almost as if you've been given that question, because we were talking about. I know that Neil and Adam were talking about that regards the album. So I know that on reflection there would have been we'd have done something different then.
Yeah, I mean, there's always something you tweak, or there's some mistake, or there's things I listen to and I'm kind of like, oh, I'd change that in the middle or something like that. But with the album, the one thing that I do regret is I was listening to one of the mixes and I was listening through like a smart speaker that had loads of bottom end, and I didn't realise.
Yeah.
So I was saying my feedback to Greg, the guy, the producer, was, oh, there's too much bottom end. We need to turn it down a little bit. And as a result, I think it got turned down a little bit too much. And so, yeah, there's just not enough drums. And I think at the time, the guy, Jason, who was playing drums on it, he was away on holiday or something like that. So he wasn't listening to the mixes in real time. So he wasn't there to say, shut up, Adam, there's nothing wrong with it. What are you talking about? So I do blame myself a little bit for that. I think the drums aren't as loud as they could be on the album. But then it means more guitar, and, I'm happy with that too. So
you're happy.
Yeah. That's the only thing.
Jason, if you turn off now, so what I would change about the drums is
well, this is it, Ricky. When you're not a musician in the band, you do actually realise when Adam's involved in it, you get plenty of guitars. When Will's involved in it, you'll get plenty of drums. So there is a bit of favouritism, If we get Phil doing it, it'll sound a lot more like Autopsy.
He's mentioned about his 5-string bass guitar. I'm wondering if it's going to be the Les Claypool of Absolution, you know, bring a wee bit of Primus into the band.
We don't have the fan fret, so we've never had a bass player with a fan fret bass before.
Yeah.
So it's one of those weird things where I'm staring at him while watching him play, thinking, I don't know what you're doing just because of the shape of the neck. And it's just weird watching your hand do. I'm like, oh, what's going on there?
Well,
Just do
I
this
think you're
one
actually
finger.
challenging him. Are you challenging William?
I'm just looking forward to backing up whatever they put in front of me, really.
Which won't be anything like Primus, so you're all right.
Perfect suits me.
Just make sure you get heard, Phil. That's all.
Yep, I can turn up a little bit.
Just lean over the guitarist a bit.
Yeah, I think the only thing different, I think, is I've played a little bit slower the past couple of weeks in rehearsal. Like I think the first one I was playing like a lot slower than normal. And then I think the only thing might be speed that changes.
Yeah.
Sorry. Have you noticed Will's playing slower, anybody?
No.
No?
Oh, it's felt slower to me anyway.
To me.
No.
Or I've actually been paying attention. So that
Oh,
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
different.
If
don't
I'm
believe
thinking
that.
about lasagna, then you know yeah, don't worry about it. He's thinking about
Well,
food. And it's
we
fine.
know
But
when
if I'm thinking about it,
we know when you
Normally
start we
eating.
know when you start thinking about your dinner. We
Right,
know
right. We can't have that in a band. We can't have a drummer that actually thinks. That means that he's got a brain. We can't have that in a band. So
Don't worry. Don't worry.
No, we haven't.
cool. But Neil, when it comes to like recording material and when it comes to in rehearsal, for example, and doing vocal lines over and over again, maybe over a short period of time, do you go through some vocal techniques before you start recording? What rituals do you have before you go on stage?
All right. You're on about warming up.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with the likes of probably Dave Ingram and Carl Willits or something. That sort of thing. Like, a few beers and that, right? Okay, I'm ready. No, I mean, the only thing I like to do, I know I was watching one of your videos, I think from the other week, and was it
Hope you subscribed.
Austerium? Was it Austerium? I probably haven't subscribed. I'm really bad. Sorry. I must do that.
That's true. Yeah.
Don't worry, I will. You'll tell it to me anyway because it'll be Absolution. But now they're going on about Vocal Zone. I mean, I've tried those once, but then I remember we were playing some little festival, and someone came up to us with them, and then they were going on for about 5 minutes about, well, oh, be careful how much you have because it's like got licorice and this in, and you might have it might affect your system. And I was just like, what? But what I tend to like bring just more so to start with, just to keep my sort of mouth um from going too dry to start with, is just some sort of lozenges really. So I might have a few lozenges even when I on stage. I might start with a lozenge in my mouth or something like.
Yeah.
But then I do like to have a drink in between songs and that as well. Just so I don't dry out too much. But generally, once I'd say probably I use the first three songs as the warm up, and then everything's just like flows just perfectly. And then by the time you finish your set, you're like, oh, is that it? I'm warmed up and I'm ready to go. But yeah, I mean, you know, well, we're not professionals. I've seen videos on stuff. I remember something with like Scott Ian or something. And he's got like a 50-minute warm up before he goes on stage, and that's professional, but it's understandable as well. You know,
Yeah.
we go on the stage and I put my foot on the monitor or something, and then my leg will start cramping up or something. I'm like, Jesus Christ, I'm too old for this. But it's called not warming up and being a fat git. But you know, that's life. We
Yeah.
cope, we get through it. It's old school. It's DIY.
That's
What
it.
we do.
That's
yeah,
it.
Neil seems like when he steps up to the microphone to record stuff. I remember when we did the EP, it was I think pretty much one take for each song. It was didn't have to do too much to it. It's probably the minor tweaks that probably needed to go back in and punch over, but it wasn't a complete thing. You know, like if you're doing things, it's okay, take 3 takes and we take the best one. It was just there straight in, and it was like the bare minimum you had to actually record because it was I don't know what the album was like, but it was just
I
there.
tend to know the bits
Albums.
where I think, oh, can we just do that one bit again? Can I just do that one bit? Because I didn't quite get the draw on the sort of length of the draw on the or whatever. It's But yeah, I mean, I'm not professional when it comes to warming up whatsoever. I don't smoke anymore, so I don't have that sort of. I don't do that either, like some people I know. I think Carl and that still smoke and that, but
Yeah.
I don't do that anymore. So I can't go right. This will get me gravelly voice on. So I'll have to start drinking whiskey, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Thanks for coming back, guys. I really do appreciate the time that you've spent with me so far. But Neil, with you being the main vocalist of the band, in fact, do you know something? I'm going to ask this question. What I love seeing in a band is more than one vocalist, is it adds something different, because CD sales don't make it for bands anymore, so you have to do something different on stage. So are we going to see a more vocal contribution from more members of the band? I was thinking, since Phil's joined, are we going to see Phil do some backing vocals beside you on stage?
Well, our previous bass player did do a few
Well,
backing vocals, to be
pressure's
fair.
on, Phil.
And that was the first one who did. But then it depends on what people are like at the end of the day, Ricky. A lot of people don't want that
Yeah.
attention, so to speak. I have to have that attention, so
Yeah, it was interesting with the backing vocals that Neil was referring to, because it just kind of evolved, didn't it? It wasn't like necessarily a
decision. No,
yeah, it just kind of naturally evolved in it, and I think it did really work. It did it just emphasizes certain parts. And Phil, are you good at making noises?
I can sing properly. Like, I don't know about guttural, so probably.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure this is going to quite naturally generate into the farce of the interview to come. But obviously,
come on, Rich. Come on, Rich.
One thing that I
take this one.
One thing that
you lot say you want to get more attention, from the crowd and that. It's all just me and my lyrics. So
I wrote some lyrics for one of our newer songs. I've never written lyrics before for Absolution, so and I don't. The fact that Neil does still repeat them isn't such a bad thing, I guess. But it was very hard for me to explain to Neil exactly where I wanted him to sing. I had it So I thought, and then the easiest thing to do, and I agreed to do this when I wasn't in front of a microphone, was I'll just sing the bloody thing, and then Neil will hear it, and then Neil will know. But yeah, I think the output was.
It's fine, Rich. I mean, the funny thing was, I remember watching this video what Adam recorded. He set his phone up, and then you saw him and Will disappear because I wasn't there.
Mm.
And I was like, "Did you have to leave the rehearsal room?" And they went,
know.
"Yeah." He made us go down the corridor.
Yeah, didn't make them leave the room. I sent them out the corridor. They were nearly out the building.
No, it was funny.
Nervous, weren't you?
I've shown it to a couple of people, and not too many people. Don't worry, Rich.
Yeah.
And they've said that they thought it sounded like a really good death metal demo, and someone said, "Oh yeah, it sounds a bit like Corpse Little Cannibal."
The really hurtful thing about it was that when you posted it, my good friend Neil said, "That's not Richard, it's Will."
Based on past efforts.
I thought it must be Will or something like, but
Yeah, I can't.
Fair play to you, Rich. I'm well proud of you.
Well,
It's
do you know
one of them
something? What I'm taking from this is I know Phil can do guttural vocals because you just need to look at the size of him. You know what I mean? He'll handle that no problem at all. The only person that's really kept quiet about this is Adam, and I'm just wondering whether he sounds like Vince Neil or something like that behind the mic.
Not that good.
Well, put it this way, Ricky, you'll see him live. You'll see his facial expressions, and you'll think, no, there's no guttural sounds coming out of that facial expression. It's
Yeah,
like
I
he's
look
having
like
a
Justin
wank.
Hawkins. He sounds like Justin Hawkins.
He just
Well,
looks like he's having a wank on stage. I'll tell you, Ricky. He's like,
Well, I am.
well, what I demand from seeing you guys at Dead of Winter is, even if it's one line, I want to see a backing vocals. I don't care who it is. I want to see it. And I'll tell you, I'll be standing there like that until I do see it.
The funny thing, when we recorded at EP, we like kind of looked at Richard afterwards, and we were like, "We know you don't want to do it, but you know, we might have just lost the backing vocalist, but we know you could do it." But then it's like playing guitar and singing at the same time is quite one of those things where I can.
He's a
Yeah.
rhythm guitarist.
I know this song. I know this song.
Yeah.
That's the basic thing. I can do that, but I can't do if you have to do it up and down.
I stand in awe of people like Dave Mustaine that can do that. I just felt like before Absolution, when I was a teenager, I used to like mess around in bands when I was at school and college, just with my friends, and I ended up singing in inverted commas and playing guitar in that kind of a band. And what I used to find is I used to write the songs as I was singing. So it's like I can do this little bit here, and I can move my chord here, and I can then it's amazing. Like people like Chuck, you know, how they can play guitar to that standard and sing at the same time is.
What you need to remember is you're playing a death metal show. Nobody understands a word you're singing anyway.
Oh no, Neil will get upset.
Thank you. Correct.
What's upset Neil now?
old school. Come on. Even Napalm, you can work out the chorus. You know, that's all you need. We're not talking pig squeals or anything here. We're talking old school death metal. You're going to at least get the chorus lines. That's what I like about it.
I'll tell Danny that tomorrow.
One of the best death metal vocalists is Mr. Walker from Cancer, because he's got a brilliant growl, but you know exactly what he's saying as well. Because his lines, he's only got like 3 words per line. For a 10-second riff, he's only got three words to say. Whereas I know, Neil, that these guys piss you off because whenever they contribute lyrics, they make sure they have 10 words in a 3-second riff, and you have to speak growl fast, you know.
No, I mean there's only one song, and to be fair, Richard's done it in a very particular old school style, sort of death metal sort of like style, which is just like a real, almost like a bark, sort of like rah, 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 you know, it's like that. Which is it's a very particular style. You know, I recognise that sort of style. It's not really me, you know. And I said to him, I might have to try and emphasise some of the lines a bit more than that. I'm not really a barker, as I would call it. It's like I like to sort of emphasise them a bit more, but we just got to play on that song. But the hardest thing for me, Ricky, is just I don't know what it is. It's just learning other people's lyrics.
Yeah.
You know, when you write them yourself, you sort of half remember them anyway. Yeah. So learning someone's, you know, getting them again, right? Okay, I need to learn Richard's lyrics, and there's not a lot. I'm not being unfair to Richard, but each line is fairly short. You know, isn't it, Rich? You know, it's just a couple of words, 2 or 3 words. Most of you. So it's just trying to get it in your head when you haven't wrote them yourselves. I've always been used to writing my own lyrics, so you sort of like remember it anyway because you spend X amount of time writing them, and as you're trying, you know, I'm trying to like get them to work right and that. So you're halfway there already by the time you've written the whole lyrics, I find. But someone else's, you're like, right, okay, just trying to get it stuck in your head. So that's the only thing I've got, you know, that I will have with that. You know, it's
while we're on the subject of lyrics, Dare I ask where you get your lyrical inspiration from? Do you watch a lot of films? Do you read a lot of books? Do you watch a lot of documentaries? Do you watch a lot of true crime? Where do you get your inspiration from?
It can come from all sort of places. Some of it's, you know, let's say films. There are some films, and I will, I mean, there's films. There's been a bit of a running theme anyway, I think, throughout the band in the time, going back to like even the name of the band, Absolution, is from a film. Um, you know, s- um, so there's quite a few sort of things where I have got influenced by films. I mean, things like got a song about Burke and Hare, but the main influence for that was from a film, an old film with Peter Cushing in, called The Flesh and the Fiends.
Yeah,
And I actually called the song "The Flesh and the Fiends." So there's stuff like that. Ten Rillington Place, cracking film. So there's bits of that. There's bits of books. News can sort of
a
influence,
book.
especially when I started. There was some sort of news stuff which like made me think. Um, and then it's just research, and even there's been some stuff. To be fair, we did one. Um, for about the area in Worcester, because we were playing Worcester a bit, and that was actually one of the crowd, talking to me afterwards and said, "Oh, do you know about this bloke who did this in Worcester? And he like, he killed these children and he impaled them on a road." And I was like, "No, what's his name?" Like, I looked that up, and it's amazing how many British things there are which are like not that well known,
Yeah,
and people are like, and that's why I find sometimes I get people after the shows and that, or even commenting after on post saying, "Yeah, I looked up about that. It's really interesting," like sort of thing. And people, it's amazing how many people, well, I mean, you see it now with like Netflix and stuff, people are quite interested in true crime. Um, some of
100%.
it is very serialized. I mean, the latest one on Ed Gein was a bit like, really? um, there's not. It's a bit sort of dramatized to say a little bit, but it's good. But I mean, we haven't sort of tried to jump on the bandwagon and sort of take advantage of it, so to speak. It's like this is what we do, But then I do get a bit miffed when bands don't do the research. If they do something like on true crime, I mean, oh, Richard, help me out. Who did a whole album based upon Burke and Hare? There's a death metal band.
John
Oh,
Bishop.
And one of
oh,
the song they
oh.
released as like a single was basically about them being grave diggers, and it was like they never did any. They weren't grave diggers. They never did that, and I was just like, you've done a whole album themed on them, and you
That's
haven't done
fucking
your
hell.
research. It's just like, come on.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Can
it's
I
a well-known
recommend?
band.
Yeah, it is. I'm sure it begins with the letter E for some reason.
Can I recommend a book for you? It's called Lustmord, and it's
Okay.
actually got real writings of serial killers. I know serial killers is a huge thing, but it's got pictures and it's got actual, like it's got zodiac letters and all the rest of it. It's got Albert Fish in it, it's got Dahmer in it and stuff like that. But it's actual letters that people write. You get Albert Fish. There's something like 30 letters that he wrote to one particular woman, and they're all in here.
Okay.
It's a fascinating read. I mean, it's a horrible subject, obviously, but it's fascinating what can happen in there.
Oh, it is. It's all about the psyche at the end of the day. I don't try and glorify this whatsoever.
Yeah,
These. I mean, and it's how you look at it. Are they completely horrific people, or are they just ill? I mean, it's very true what they do with some of the series you've got on TV. Were they born to kill?
yeah.
That a lot of people went through certain events in their childhood, and was that the only factor, or was there different things? You just never know. But
I
yeah,
mean,
I mean, there's even one of my mates mentioned to me, and I don't know whether is it sort of like Guernsey or something. And there was one about this bloke, and it's almost like he was wearing a mask, almost like Texas Chainsaw, and it's like the Guernsey or Jersey or something. And he was like, he was like raping women and stuff, and he was like wearing this mask, and he was like, "Would this be of any use to you?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, so all these sort of ideas, but I mean, there's plenty of things, even going back, as I say, some of the songs will go back in time. It's not just serial killers, it's anything which is like, to do with mass murders and stuff, I mean,
Yeah.
as I say, there's one about Mary the First, um, who got more known just basically because of her side of the religion was different to the mainstream at the time. So she got sort of cast out as being like this Bloody Mary and all that sort of stuff. Won't go on about that because I know you're from Glasgow. That's going to be an
The
interesting one when
walls
we
just got a
play
wee
it.
bit higher.
Yeah, but that's up to you. Like, that's at the end of the day. I'm not a religious person. I just find it interesting.
Burke and
But yeah,
Hare,
even to
Burke and Hare band.
myths and
I think it's
legends.
exhumed.
Sorry.
I think it's exhumed. The Burke and Hare album.
Yeah, that'd be the one. Yeah.
Cool.
Sorry. Yeah. But yeah.
No, cool. Cool. Listen, I've only got like 2 questions left for you. But it's kind of like jokey questions, but serious at the same time. It's a question for each of the band, including yourself, Phil. But you're coming up to Dead of Winter. You're looking to play, like, I think it's a 30-minute set that you guys are playing. But Adam, since you're top left, what's the one song off the set list that you're looking forward to playing the most and why? It might be fifth on the sheet, but you're looking forward to playing it the most and why? And it's a question for each of
I'd
you.
say
Adam,
probably,
I'm asking you first.
yeah, I'll go with Shallow Graves. I think it's my favourite song to play live. I
Why?
just really like it. It's got riffs. It's got fast riffs. It's got chunky riffs. It's got a slow section in the middle. I like the whittle that I do on it. I just really enjoy playing that song, and I think it sort of sums us up as well. I know it's one of the really early songs, but it's just very Absolution in my view. So that's the one I tend to enjoy playing live the most.
Cool. Like it. Like it. William, your bottom left. What song do you like playing most and why?
It's one of them. I think it depends on the night and how you feel beforehand. Where you can't just pick one out. It's
Is this you saying, William, that you don't know any of the titles?
no.
How does it start, Will?
Richard starts it, which is at least 6 of the songs. No,
That's Mark 8.
No, well, no. I do like Gas Mark 8 when I listen to it, but it's one of those songs where I don't like it because for me it's just the same thing over and over again. Fuck's sake. But it's a good song. I don't know. I wish we could do a Ogress and Reading again, or
No,
that'd be nice.
So why is that a no from you, Adam?
It's my least favourite. I don't even know why. We could just play the last riff. That'd be cool. But
it's a strange one, Ad, because a lot of people like it.
Say again?
A lot of people like it.
Yeah.
It's almost got a bit of an autopsy sort of like feel to it, so I think a lot of people do like it.
Yeah.
Well, Adam, you might not get a choice because you might be out and voted by the rest of the band. But Richard, what's the song that you're looking forward to playing the most and why?
It fluctuates between two. Probably the reasons that Will has reservations about Gas Mark 8 is exactly the reason that I like it. Because a lot of my musical background. So you're talking probably when I was a late teenager. I used to really quite dislike death metal when I was a teenager. It's a kind of strange thing because obviously my background was like UK hardcore and hardcore punk, so that was my background. So songs, I guess, in my soul and my psyche that are quite simplistic, always I'm drawn to. So I like the simplicity and the directness of Gas Mark 8. But the one that I'm going to pick is Doctor Death.
Right.
This is going to probably just say Doctor Death when we play it makes me feel that I'm in a damn good band, because it's got that intro, the musical intro to it, which is, you know, it's heavy and it's ominous and it's building up to something, and then when we get to the bit where the song really begins, it makes me feel that is bang on. So I would say Doctor Death, because it's a great song to open a gig with. It really builds up, and when we all come in together, you know, I think it really shows the power of the band. That the song also includes, you know, a good groovy bit and a bit of a, you know, in the same way that Adam says that Shallow Graves encapsulates the essence of Absolution, I think that Dr. Death does as well. And it is a song that is important to many of us, because it is the first song that we wrote and stuck with when we reformed. And I do remember, you know, me and Adam and Neil in my sitting room many, many years ago, you know, sweating over, you know, how to present certain riffs in that song. So it brings back good memories of first track that we properly recorded on the EP. The first song we played when we reformed, it was what we opened with. So it brings back a lot of good memories as well.
Richard,
the
I'm
best
nearly
part is the
crying.
first 4 bars.
Sorry?
The best part is the first 4 bars.
Richard, I'm nearly crying after listening to that story.
Thank you.
That was really emotional. Got me there.
Thank you. We can get more emotional. It's fine.
Well, Phil, I don't know if it's too early to say, mate. I know that you've not been long in the band, but I know that you have been rehearsing the material. But is there one song that you're particularly looking forward to playing yourself?
Yeah, definitely. Hanging by a Thread. That was the one that I listened to, like that got me into the band. Like I watched the video like quite a lot on YouTube, and I've been streaming the album, and that's the one that I go to. Like, I really like the song, and looking forward to playing it live with the band.
Is it because it's got a bass solo in it?
There's a nice little section in there, yeah. I just think the whole song grooves, and yeah, I think it's a good, solid track.
Is that the one that goes
Pop song, I think.
new, or is that a different one?
Yeah, no, it's that one.
Yeah.
Whoa.
William, he's been in the band 2 weeks and he knows the fucking songs more than you do.
100%.
Hard.
I don't know the songs. The song know me. That's it.
How do you know what song you're going to be playing next? Like when you're playing live and stuff like that, do you wait for the riff to come in first and then you play? Oh, right.
The funny thing is, there were 2 songs. So there's one that we play now, and it's I've forgotten what it's called.
Well, yes, that's the whole point.
But then there was another one which was a very similar start. So it's just a hi-hat going, then it was just skank beat. But the first riff sounded the same as another song, but it would just play that for 4 bars, and you go over to the other one, to the right even, and that'd be for either 4 bars or 6 bars, and then or 3 bars, or what? Fucking, we don't play the one with 3 bars anymore.
What are you talking
And then
about?
it would be the second riff.
How the fuck does this guy get it right every gig? Or does he not get it right every gig?
He has a very accommodating rhythm guitarist.
I see. I appreciate that. But Neil, what's your song off the set list that you're looking forward to playing the most?
Well, I mean, I've got to be a crowd pleaser here. So, I mean, there's 2 if we play them both. You know, I mean, I've got to come up to Scotland, you know, so I've got to play, you know, one of the songs is obviously Flesh and the Fiends, which is based in Edinburgh. And then obviously my favourite, and it is one of my favourite songs, is Cannibal Clan. And it's just a crowd pleaser, really, especially up in Scotland, you know. Sawney Bean, I'm sure hopefully that'll get the crowd sort of going.
I'll give you a tip.
Cannibalistic Clan.
I'll give you a piece of advice. If you announce a song and you say "fuck the English," you'll get the whole room, surfing and all the rest of it.
Well, that's a kind of comfort for us.
Yeah.
As long as they accept me and I put the blue paint on, and I mean, it all depends, Ricky. Like, I mean, I can wear a Villa top with McGinn on if that's gonna seal the deal. But I don't know with you, like, because I know what you like up there. So, like, I know McGinn's sort of like backstory. So you probably go, yeah, even though he plays for Scotland, I don't really like him.
If you do that, I'll be downstairs interviewing a band and I'll just completely miss your set.
There you go. I did. Oh, that's terrible, man. That's terrible. But he's such a lovely bloke.
I'm only kidding you on. Listen, Scotland World Cup first time in 28 years.
That's great. That's brilliant, man.
Congratulations.
We're not going to talk about football in this chat. This is the last question for you, and this is probably going to lead to another 40-minute section because I want to know what instruments, what make and model you're coming up with, what pedals you're going to use, what's your setup and everything like that. So Adam, I'm looking at you first yet again, mate. What's your guitar? What's your setup?
I'm just going to go watch a film.
Yeah.
Yeah, see you now.
Go for it.
I've got 10 to pick from.
10?
But,
how many are you taking? Are you taking 2 up to Glasgow?
I'll probably bring 2 with me, and I'll probably bring one that's like not. I bought it off eBay. Somebody made it at home. This is like it's a BC Rich Stealth kind of
nice. Very nice.
Inspired guitar that somebody made, but that and I don't know yet. It's too early to tell. A bit closer to the time, I'll pick one of the other ladies and
but something tells me because you're the lead guitarist of the band, you've got the most, and you're the geek of the band, and you've got the most pedals.
Yeah, probably. Definitely.
Yeah, he arrives at 7 and we start at 7:30.
The reason that we're playing B standard is because Richard didn't realise that he bought a 7-string guitar.
Right.
And then a little bit later he bought himself a backup guitar and he turned up with an 8-string guitar that he didn't even realise. So that tells you the difference.
The 8-string is because I saw the same deal. It was on Guitar. I bought the Mockingbird 5-string bass because there's like a tenner difference, but at the same time you could get the 7-string and the 8-string for the same price. So I think he probably saw it and just went, yes, sound extra string.
What you're seeing now, sorry Adam, I'm taking over your slot, but I feel I must defend myself. What you're seeing now, Ricky, is the true essence of this band.
The personal attack, Rich. I agree with you. It's a personal attack.
They see it as humour, but I see it as a motivational obstacle. I was hoping we weren't going to get onto equipment. I really was.
But Adam, what's your pedals, mate? What do you use?
Well, at the moment, it's pretty simple, really. I use a Black Star Amped 2 as my main amplifier, which is pedal based. It's on the board, and then I will have a 14 Zool noise gate, the best noise gate you can get. I think it's really good.
Yeah.
And I'm using for like a solo boost in the effects loop. It's actually a Tech 21 Sansamp fly rig, the Richie Kotzen one, but I just used the Sansamp part of it as a solo boost, add some mids and a bit of volume.
Fair play.
That's it. Yeah.
Cool. Something tells me the other 4 guys have to carry your equipment into the fucking gig.
No, not at all. It all fits in one bag. My philosophy is all super lightweight. We've had the days of like lugging around massive cheap 100-watt heads and everything. Is just too painful. I'd go up 3 flights of stairs in Wolverhampton with Richard's fucking 100-watt Black Star. Never again. So we just try and keep it really light. I just literally have.
Thanks for carrying it, Adam. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
He's not the only one.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, all my stuff just fits into one sort of pedal bag. Basically, it's really easy, lightweight.
Good, good. Thank you, Adam. William, you're next, mate. In fact, Adam, what guitar strings do you use? Are you sponsored by anybody, or do you have a
No, nothing
preferred
like
string?
that. I use NYXLs from D'Addario, 12 to 54, because we tune 6-string, but tuned down to B standard.
Cool.
So it keeps the tension more or less the same as if it was like a set of 9s at E standard. So yeah, that's
Cool.
me.
Cool. Thank you, Adam. Thank you. William, I don't know what that candle was for.
I was just seeing if I had any better lighting for myself because I'm like the lights all behind me. That's all.
It's best that you're in darkness. Let's just put it that way.
Oh, I'm married. It's fine.
What drums do you use? What's your setup, mate?
So, drumsticks, I use ProMark 2B drumsticks, so the thicker ones. And then snare drum, I got far too many of them. I won't list them all because my wife's probably listening, and she hasn't heard of a couple of them. But one of them was for free, so that's fine. 2 drum kits at the studio. So the one is my original one from about 15 years ago, which is my Pearl Export. 2 bass drums, 3 rack toms, 2 floor toms. And then the one that I use at the moment for recording and practice and taking out is the Gretsch Catalina Club, which is a 24-inch kick drum, 2 rack toms, which is 10 and 12. And then at the moment, I've got 14 and 16, but I can add on a 13 and an 18 if I wanted to be all fancy and showboaty and annoy a sound engineer, but I don't do that. I just keep it the normal, 5-piece, just to keep it simple. The Vinnie Paul, you don't need more than that for the thing. And then, 1 hi-hat, 3 cymbals, 2 chinas, a ride, and a bell. Yeah, I don't mean all Peisty stuff because I want to keep to just one brand, even though there's so much good stuff. I just want to kind of keep to the one things, but
Sounds
Yeah.
like he's a fucking Nickel McBrain of death metal by the sounds of things. But do you have a specific make of cymbals? Is it paste or what brand do you use?
Yeah, so I'd use Peisty. So at the moment, funny enough, on the EP we recorded what back 2013. I got some. They were Peisty Alpha Boomers, which were Nico McBrien's signature series. So
Yeah.
it's the 14-inch hi-hats, 22-inch ride, and then it came with an 18 and a 12-inch cymbals with it, which I've since long gone. But the hi-hats and the ride have stayed, which I keep at the studio and I don't take out with me because
Yeah.
they're that rare at the moment and I like the sounds of them. I just want to keep them there. When I go out to perform, I'd use the 14-inch, I think it's PSD5 Sound Edge hi-hat, and then a 22-inch PSD5 Mega Bell ride. So it's basically the same cymbal, but slight different diameter bell.
Mega
So,
bell.
yeah, it still annoys
Mega
everyone.
bell.
Yeah. And then I've just on the cymbals, I've got the PSD8s, 2 18s, a rock and a medium, and then a 16-inch rock. Then a PSD5.
Sorry. So immature.
A PSD5.
Partridge in a pear tree.
Yeah, 16-inch China. PSD7 18-inch China. And then the only cymbal that is not pasty is the 9-inch bell, which is a Zildjian Z bell.
Do you know what's funny?
Oh, goodness.
Do you know what's funny? He remembers his fucking symbols, but he can't remember the names of the songs or how they go or anything like that.
Yeah,
So,
because usually the songs go like.
well,
God, your wife isn't listening to this. She's going to think you're on. I don't know what she'll think after listening to all that.
Oh, I can list out snare drums if you like. So in the in the rehearsal room
No,
at
you're all
the
right,
moment,
mate.
I've got the Vinnie Paul signature snare drum,
Please make him
which
stop.
is going to stay in the rehearsal room because you don't want that disappearing because of how rare they are. And then the one I take out is the 13 by 5.5 Tama Metalworks, which is the same as the Joe Jordanson, which I've had for about 15 years.
Thank you. Thank you, William. I love that detail.
I bet you're glad you asked that, Ricky.
Oh, I haven't
So
mentioned
it's been
pedals,
about
but
40
I'll do
minute
that.
segment.
That's next time.
Hold on there. Listen, I appreciate the time that you've come on with me, but we've only got 3 more guys to go, ladies and gentlemen. I think this has potentially the chance of being the longest interview that I've ever done for Moshville Times and myself and Moshville Radio and things.
Most of that was Will.
Yeah, but I've got a funny feeling things are going to get a wee bit more simpler when it comes to Richard. And tell me your guitar
He
set
doesn't
up,
know.
mate.
Why are you laughing at him?
I just want you to tell me you've got a 6-string and you just plug it in, and I'll move on to the next person.
Does it have BC Rich on it? Yes.
I'll try and give
Does
an
it turn
answer.
up to 10? Yes. Good.
Yeah. So, another thing that I was very passionate about when we reformed the band, one was that we were going to stay true to ourselves, and one, I wanted to make sure that I had a decent sound. So obviously that needs, a good amp and a good guitar. My main guitar, which I still have and I still use, and it's very likely to be the guitar that I use in Scotland, is a BC Rich JVR 7. So that's my main guitar. Didn't necessarily. There's a little bit of exaggeration with my colleagues about me not knowing how many strings were on the guitar. There is some logic behind what I did. It wasn't so I didn't deliberately go out to get a 7-string guitar. It just happened that it sounded good and it had 7 strings. Pedal wise,
sorry, I thought you got an 8-string guitar. Did you get one of those deals? 7 strings buy 7 strings, get one free or something?
That's a little bit more complicated, but we'll come to that one, much to Adam's amusement. The one big thing, because obviously when Absolution stopped in about 94, I didn't really have anything to do with guitaring. I was never in another band from then until the band reformed. But so much had changed with guitar technology from the 90s to the 2010s. Yeah. The one thing that really had changed is amps having a lot more built-in overdrive. So that's the one thing that when I returned to music that I was not familiar with. So I've always tried to keep things quite simple, because these modern amps have got so much built-in overdrive. You don't necessarily, for me, need banks of pedals. Well, most of my overdrive comes from the amp. So my amp is an EVR 5150. Prior to that, I used the big black Scar. So there's a lot of built-in distortion with these amps. Of late, due to popular demand, I've included a noise gate, because Adam said he would kill me if I didn't. And I've included a Boss overdrive level just to give a little bit more depth to the sound, because I tend to, much to Adam's love as well, have my mids on quite low, so it gives it a little bit more or off, yeah. But as Adam has found out,
Rick Ross borrowed your amp.
Yeah,
Do you remember?
Sorry,
and he borrowed your amp.
Rick Ross borrowed my amp.
When he supported Left to Die, and he borrowed yours. Yeah. And then when he got it back, you noticed he'd put the mids on 0, and you were like, "See, I told you."
Yeah. And who else has his mids on 0 and his bass on 4? Trevor Pearce.
Yeah. I think he does have a pretty goddamn.
So yeah. I've never claimed to be a musician. I think, Adam and Will, they are what I would call musicians. And I think Phil is
a musician, mate.
I'm a player, so to speak. So I'll pick up a guitar and I'll just play it. I don't really understand the technology. It's not really something that I'm interested in. As long as things work and they sound good, then that's fine with me.
Do you know, Rich? It's funny how you're talking about your setup and everything like that, and all the other guys are doing are just laughing at you, mate.
Yeah, no.
I actually feel sorry for you.
It happens a lot. It happens a lot.
Yeah.
You don't even know what amp you've got. You
We
called
do
it
as
an
well, don't
EVR.
worry.
The 8-string is the 8-string sounded really, really good. But I don't want to play an 8-string, so I've strung the 8-string as a 7.
You're doing a power metal side project or something?
Sorry?
You're doing a power metal side project or something?
Yeah, well, it might look like it, but it certainly wouldn't sound like it. So yeah, keep things quite simple.
Cool.
Was that a good
Thanks,
answer,
Rich.
Adam? Was that good?
A wonderful answer. It's almost like you'd written it down and practiced.
Yeah, I know.
Do you know what I've learned from this interview is I need to ask more closed fucking questions rather than open questions.
Yeah.
That's what I've learned from this interview. But Phil, it is now your turn, mate. What are you most likely to bring up to Scotland, and what are you most likely to use when it comes to like recording material with these guys, if you still want to?
Well, I've got the Spectre Dimension, the multi-scale 5-string. That's like my main axe at the minute. So I do like that one. I'll probably bring that with me. But as a backup, I am thinking of I've got a 4-string Warwick and a 5, so might bring the 4 with me. I need to restring that one. I've got some strings coming tomorrow, so I'm going to try that one out and see how it sounds.
See, to be honest, I can understand like a guitarist bringing up a backup guitar, but why does a bassist need to bring up a backup guitar?
Just in case like an input goes, or like anything goes wrong with the guitar itself, really. Like just want to have a spare just in case. But yeah, I am leaning towards a 4 at the minute. Like, doesn't really call for the 5 any of the tracks that I'm playing at the minute. So
yeah,
I do think a 4
or even 4 strings. But
They go back to I've seen the gig before. It's a death metal gig. The bass player had a 6-string bass, and he snapped the lowest string, which is just a B string, which is what 110, is it? Gauge.
Depends. I've got a 165 on at the minute.
Oh yeah.
I do need
Just
to
remember like walking off stage and going, this is the string's fucked, and you just see the bottom of it hanging off like a weedy little guitar string, and then walks back on with a new one.
Well, Phil, what you need to remember is you're in a death metal band now. You only use the top 2 strings anyway, so you may as well be like there was a band called Dad from Denmark, and the bassist only had 2 strings. That's all you need. You don't need 4 or you don't need 5. You just need 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Max Sepultura. Max out of Sepultura, and he's done it right. You need three strings to be a rhythm guitarist. That's all you need. Rich goes the other way extreme.
When we wrote "Hanging by a Thread," I practically thought I was a lead guitarist because I was using 4 strings. It's extraordinary.
There you go.
But then strings is exaggerated. I mean, Mickey Harris wrote stuff for the children on a 2-string guitar. So
absolutely. But Phil, what about pedals and stuff like that? Are you bringing anything along?
Yeah, so I've got a dark glass Adam. I use that. It's got everything built in, compressor in there, distortion, like everything that you need really is in that pedal. But I've also got a harmonic booster, and then the X7 if I want to add a little bit of extra clang in there as well. So I'll probably bring them. They're all set up on a board ready.
Can I just say, unfortunately for you guys, that Phil sounds the most professional player in this band, and he's only just joined. So I think you guys need to raise your level.
or lower fills.
Or lower fills.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But last but not least, we're going to talk about you, fucking Neil. With you being the vocalist of the band, do you do your research?
I don't have equipment.
I know. Do you do your research to find like what microphone gives you the best sound, or are you just give me an SM58 and I'll fucking sing into it? I think I know the answer to this already.
Yeah, you do know the answer to this already. I am the most simplistic person in the band. what might do I want? Sure, 58. The only thing I might want to change is have a wireless version, whichever model that is. I'm not a geek when it comes to like this sort of stuff. So
Oh, you want to be like
whatever the
Britney Spears and have
wireless
the
version
microphone
is.
like that?
Yeah.
I
You can
don't know
literally
about
just get
that.
the
No.
SM58 but as a wireless. Just cost double the price.
Yeah, whatever the wireless version is, maybe. But I don't care. I'll be the theatrical fool who trips over wires and stuff for the justification of the crowd to have a laugh or whatever. Like, I'll do that.
Do you know, Neil,
Maybe.
what I want you to do, mate, is Ivory Blacks is such a great stage that you can actually walk off it and come into the crowd and just,
As long
get.
as I can walk off it and walk back on, that's fine. Asking me to jump down and jump up, that's a bit of a push at my age.
Well, you have to come down 3 stairs, and I know you're aged because it means that you'll have to walk back up 3 stairs, and I don't know whether
That's
that's
fine.
going to be an issue.
Stairs is fine. It's
Yeah.
when you like got a stage and you get these people who just jump back up on it. I'm like, no, I'm staying down here.
We'll
I'll
get,
That's
I'll
what me
mix
and
with the
Phil
crowd.
afford to help him back on stage.
we'll get him a ramp.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
get a
last
stair lift, stand you. Right, we're back.
yeah.
No, if I come down, I'll probably end up staying in the crowd.
Well, while you get the stair lift, Neil, I'll give William enough time to recognise what song they're playing fucking next. But anyway,
They all sound the same, so it's fine. Don't worry about it.
I am wondering, like Adam, can you sort of like give me a different sheet which has a
I've done that before.
Oh, he's done that
I
before,
remember,
yeah.
I did do that once before. I remember well.
Yeah.
Richard he actually knows how it starts.
Every time I get a set list, I'm looking at it like, has he done that fucking badum tish or something yet?
unbelievable. And this is going to be chaotic, but you know something? I'm so looking forward to seeing you guys Dead of Winter because there's a variety of all forms of extreme metal on this weekend. But what I love especially is old school death metal, and that's just you guys through and through. I hope this interview hasn't put you off, Phil. You now completely understand what you're getting yourself into. Sorry for fucking interrupting your dinner, Neil. But it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you guys. And when you play Dead of Winter after your set, I will get you downstairs. I'll get a couple of you downstairs, and we'll have another interview, and we'll talk about the set and the audience and things like that.
Yeah,
Make sure you bring your
we'll send
merch.
Phil down, and it'll be absolutely fine.
Make sure you bring your merch and everything like that because you guys are going to go down a storm, and I'm especially looking forward to seeing you guys. And I'll see you at the bar in about a month and a half's time.
Yeah. Ricky, thanks very much.
Thank you, Ricky.
Support.
Thank you
Really
very much.
appreciated.
You're welcome, guys. Well,
See you soon.